Thank you for joining me on another episode of She Leads Now podcast, where we help career and entrepreneurial women gain the tools to develop a success mindset, create winning strategies, build collaborative relationships, and take bold action towards creating impact and fulfillment in their lives and careers. I'm your host, Sabine Gideon, and I'm on a mission to awaken and activate women and emerging leaders so they can tap into their innate leadership ability, elevate their influence, and create the impact they were destined to make. If you're ready to uplevel your confidence, courage, and influence, you've come to the right place. Join me weekly for insights, strategies, and resources to help you grow, develop, and embody the leader you were meant to be, so that you can make the impact you know you are called to make and establish the legacy you've always dreamed. The world eagerly awaits the emergence of your brilliance, impact, and influence. So with that, let's dive into this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the She Leads Now podcast. I am your host, Sabine Gideon, and I am so excited to be bringing this solo episode to you. So today will be just us chatting. I wanted to come on and provide some updates on some pending changes or some changes that you'll see very, very soon with the podcast, and certainly with the broader organization. So as of the time of this recording, we are now in April of 2022. Q1 has come and gone, and we are right smack in the beginning of Q2. And so as we know, especially here in the US, depending on where you live, April comes with a seasonal change as well. And so with seasonal changes, right, there's a lot of adaptation, there's a lot of shifting in just nature and the environment. And I do believe that the same thing goes for us as humans as we shift seasons in our lives. And so April also is representing, or I should say just this time period is representing an opportunity for a seasonal shift for me, both personally and professionally. And so with that, there are some changes that you will begin to see with regards to not just the content in the podcast, but certainly a lot of the services and the content and the focus of the company as well. So first things first, as it relates to the focus of the organization, I have, been an avid supporter of women for a very, very long time. And for a very, very long time, I just thought that that was because I am a woman and have experienced, some challenges, both with corporate and as starting my own business as an entrepreneur. And over the last several months, I've been in deep prayer and meditation and in seeking for clarity around and not just how to grow the business, but certainly how to ensure that I'm aligned with where I need to be in this particular season of my life, in this particular season of society. And the answer has come back so clearly that I am right where I need to be. And that this positioning around supporting women, specifically women who are leading, is a calling. And I want to make sure that everything that I do aligns with that calling and that I am focused on supporting the women that I am called to in the highest way possible. And so with that, I'm kind of shifting away from speaking, I guess, from a general perspective around challenges that women go through, because as I know, or as I've experienced, and I'm sure some of you have too, there are, depending on the season that we are in our life, right? There are different challenges that we're facing. And then certainly, depending on whether or not we're in a corporate structure or even a nonprofit structure, or we are an entrepreneur. And even with that, there are layers, right? There's the newbie entrepreneur just starting out within those first 1 to 3 years. Then there's that entrepreneur who is at that 3 to 5 year point where they're stabilizing, and even up to 7 years. And then, as you continue to grow and continue to move forward, there are different challenges in different phases of the entrepreneurial journey. So, I've really gotten the clarity that I want to focus on supporting And this is not to say this is the only group or only demographic that I will support, but as part of this transition in this space of gaining clarity, I found that I really, really want to work with, and I'm really called to, in this particular season, support women who have established businesses, whether that be, 3 to 5 years or 3 to 7 years, who are, trying to navigate all of the changes and all of the challenges that this marketplace and society and everything else is throwing at us. And so with that, the content on the podcast, as well as anything else that I put out, will be really, really geared towards providing women business owners, established business owners with the tools and the resources that they need to help them own, strengthen, and demonstrate their leadership identity, both personally and professionally. And with that, that means I'm going to be sharing a lot more around my Courageous Leader framework that I've designed over the last few years, been refining as I've worked with different clients. And the framework is really around gaining clarity on 4 key areas in order to really be able to step into, own, and demonstrate your leadership identity. And it really starts with your leadership operating system, or your LOS, as I'm calling it. And that's the you as the leader, you as the individual. What are your values? What are your beliefs? What are your strengths? What are your competencies? Where are your opportunities? Leadership starts with us first and foremost. And so if you're familiar with the concept around self-leadership, it really means that it doesn't matter whether or not you have a title or you're running a team. If you as the individual, aren't really quite sure of what your zone of genius is, the unique brilliance that you bring to the world, if you're not clear on your vision for either yourself, your organization, your family, if those components are missing, you can still be successful in business. You can still be successful in leading a team. But the question remains, are you operating at your highest level? Are you operating at your highest capacity? So with my framework, we start with you. And that's often the most challenging part for some people, but it's also the foundation. And once we can get that clarity, and once we can really truly understand who you are, what you bring to the table, your assigned territory or sphere of influence, then that builds the foundation for you to be able to identify, what is that vision and who do you need on your team to complement you, to help you bring that vision to life. And then the next piece is really around the vision for the organization or the company. Most of us who have started organizations, it might be because we saw a problem that needed to be solved. It might be because, we just felt compelled to start this organization because there's a cause or something that we just felt called to. There's always a deeper why of why we've started our organizations. The question becomes, now that you've started the organization, now that you've got it off the ground, where is it going? What is the future vision? And if you are bringing individuals into your organization, how are you communicating, or what are you communicating to them to make them want to stay, to make them want to be engaged and to participate and bring that vision to life? As we know, at the time of this recording, millions of people here in the US have left the workforce, or have shifted their positions within the workforce, or left the workforce. This has been a period of people really reprioritizing work and where it sits in their lives, and really taking these last 2 years to evaluate what's important to them. And so, employees now, they're looking for a lot more than just a paycheck and some benefits. They want work that has meaning. They want to know that they are making an impact in the stuff that they're doing. And the first step to helping them see the impact, or to helping them visualize their alignment with your particular vision, is to first and foremost have one, communicate it, and then reinforce it throughout the organization and its culture. And then the next piece of the framework is obviously the team, the individuals that you bring on or the individuals that you want to bring on. What skill sets do they need to have? What behaviors do they need to have for your particular organization and for the work that you're doing or for your clientele or your customers that they ultimately would be serving? What is that ideal profile? How to identify it, how to attract those individuals, and then certainly how to engage them. And then lastly, what are the systems and the processes that you need for an organization to run? Because that is so key. I know that in those first few years, right, it's really very much so all hands on deck, and we're just trying to get by with what we have. But as your organization matures and as your team grows, as the vision grows, and as you begin to really work towards that legacy, it's really important to eliminate waste, whether it be in productivity, whether it be in financial resources, that having systems and processes in place will help you do just that. So identifying what are some of those core ones that are required for every organization, and then how do you roll that out? How do you implement that? How do you engage your team members to be the ones to help support you in that space? And as you're growing or as you're shifting gears, maybe you're in a space of transition. How do you identify the systems and the processes that need to be changed to help support your growth and your development? So those are some of the things that I will be sharing in a lot more detail over the next several months and years to come. But just wanted to give you that heads up on one of the key changes here at Gideon Enterprises, and certainly on the podcast, She Leads Now. Second shift is starting Friday, April 15th. I will be adding a bi-weekly segment called Fearless Female Fridays. And this is actually coming off of March being Women's History Month, where I did a video segment on LinkedIn for each week where I identified women in particular clusters of work who have inspired me, who have amazing stories to, their journey to becoming who they are today, and who are doing amazing work to change the landscape within their particular spheres of influence. And so I have been interviewing and will continue to interview powerhouses from all walks of life, many that you've probably never even heard of and have no idea the amazing work that they're doing behind the scenes. And obviously some are a little bit more well-known than others. But nonetheless, the segment is really meant to share their journey, share their wins, how they got to be to where they are, what were some of the lessons that they've learned, and, advice that they could give to people who are stepping out. And so these individuals, these women, these powerhouses include solopreneurs, established business owners, executives in corporate America, and just all around change agents. So I'm excited to bring this segment to the podcast and to make it part of our regular offering as an additional episode every other Friday starting this week. So be sure to tune in. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so that you get the alert on the regular Wednesday episodes, as well as the Friday episode releases for Fearless Female Friday. And then lastly, as you know, if you've listened to any of the beginning episodes, I shared a lot about the Lead Hers Lounge. And so the Lead Hers Lounge is getting a little bit of a facelift, meaning that I'll still be facilitating the Lead Hers Lounge monthly. However, we're going to take the month of April off because I will be traveling. But starting in May, we're shifting the name to the Legacy Lead Hers Lounge. And the reason behind that is because I really wanted to create a space for women business owners, particularly who are in the process of building or trying to grow legacy businesses. These are businesses that they have started out of a call, a deep desire, a deep passion, out of purpose, and that they're really trying to build these organizations as something that will outlast them. And so, again, as I mentioned before, depending on where you are in business, there are different challenges that you're facing. And so the Legacy Lead Hers Lounge is going to be a lot less commercialized, meaning that I really want to create a space where it is a smaller group of individuals meeting on a monthly basis, where we can gather for peer learning and the opportunity to really, really build relationships. As you know, I'm big on networking. And so I'm really, really doubling down on relationship building and relationship marketing this year, and want to create a space for those, again, who are in the process of building or growing their legacy businesses, that they have that space to be around other women, other powerhouses who are doing the same thing and whom they can learn from and also share resources. So those are some of the changes that you will be seeing within the podcast. And certainly if you follow me on social media or are any of my other outlets, if you will, you'll start to see those changes. And, I certainly invite any feedback that you have or any questions that you have, especially if you're listening and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm facing, challenges within my organization or challenges with identifying team members or retaining team members. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can reach out to me either through LinkedIn or reach out to me via email, the support inbox at support@sabinegideon.com. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know what the challenges that you're facing are so that I can address them within the podcast and certainly within any content that I put out there. This is, again, my season of shifting and having gained this clarity. I know who I'm called to help. And I believe I have the resources and the tools to help. So please don't be shy. Reach out. Let me know what it is that you need. And if I can't directly support you, of course, I have an amazing network of individuals who are ready and willing to support you. So again, reach out to me via LinkedIn. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions. Let me know some of those burning challenges that you're facing so that I can help provide you with the tools, the resources, or the information or direction that you need to help you overcome or to solve whatever that challenge is. I will be back next week with another solo episode. But in the meantime, as I mentioned before, you can expect to hear an interview with a powerhouse this coming Friday, April 15th. With that, I will leave you. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of She Leads Now. Be sure to join us next week for another transformative discussion to help you grow, develop, and embody the courageous leader you've always been. Be sure to subscribe to the show to get alerts when new episodes drop, and join us for our next Leaders Lounge meetup on Zoom. Details and dates for future sessions are included in the show notes below, so take a look there or head over to sabinegideon.com/lounge to register and hold your spot for the next session. Again, that's sabinegideon.com/lounge to grab your spot. Excited to connect with you all inside the lounge. Talk to you soon.